Way up on a quiet mountain in Turkey, there's this little stone house. But, this isn't just any old building. For millions of people, it's one of the most sacred places on the entire planet. And the story of how it was even found, well, it's almost as incredible as the faith that surrounds it. So that brings us to the central mystery of it all, a question that sounds almost impossible. How on earth did a woman who never left her tiny German village manage to create a detailed, accurate map to a long-lost ruin hundreds and hundreds of miles away? It's a total puzzle that really blurs the lines between faith, history, and just pure mystery. Okay, so before we get into the wild story of how it was found, I think it's really important to understand what this place means to people today. Because the discovery story is incredible for sure, but its modern day significance is just as powerful. So, picture this. It's perched up on Nightingale Mountain, right near the ruins of ancient Ephesus, which was, a huge deal in early Christianity. This spot is believed by many to be the last home of the Virgin Mary. It's a massive pilgrimage site, not just for Christians, but for Muslims too. And get this, it's been visited by 3 different popes, so the importance is undeniable. But how this remote ruin was ever identified in the first place, that's the real story. To really get to the bottom of this discovery, we have to go back in time. And the story doesn't start with archaeologists digging around in Turkey. Nope. It begins in a small room in Germany with a very, very unlikely source. This is Anne Catherine Emmerich. Now, for the last 12 years of her life, she was completely bedridden. And during that time, she reportedly had these incredibly vivid visions of the lives of Jesus and Mary. And even though she never traveled anywhere, she described these far-off places with just stunning, almost photographic detail. All of her amazing visions could have just been lost to time if it weren't for this man, the writer Clemens Brentano. He was totally fascinated by her story, and for 5 years, he just sat by her bedside, meticulously writing down every single thing she described. It is entirely thanks to him that we have any record of this at all. And just look at the sheer level of detail here. Emmerich wasn't just talking about vague feelings or blurry images. Her visions were like an architectural blueprint. She described rectangular stones, high windows near a flat roof, a fireplace in the center, even the shape of the chimney. I mean, it was basically a roadmap just waiting for someone to follow. So you have these incredibly detailed visions published in a book in Germany. And for decades, that's all they were, just words on a page. But then, a few people decided to actually put her mystical map to the test. You can see the whole journey from text to reality right here on this timeline. In 1881, a French priest, Abbé Guyet, literally used Brentano's book as his guide, went to Turkey, and found a ruin that matched her descriptions perfectly. Now, his discovery was kind of dismissed at first, but a decade later, 2 more missionaries rediscovered it. And this time, the claim stuck. It all culminated in 1951, when the Vatican itself officially declared it a holy place. But here's the most incredible part, the real kicker. When the missionaries found the ruin, they found out that the local villagers, who were descendants of the very first Christians of Ephesus, already considered the site sacred. They had been making pilgrimages there for centuries, calling it Panyaya Kapalu, which means doorway to the Virgin. They had kept a tradition alive that the rest of the world had completely forgotten. So this combination of a mystic's vision from Germany and an ancient, unbroken local tradition, it was powerful. From that moment on, the site began its amazing transformation from a forgotten ruin into the international pilgrimage center that we see today. And its status was pretty much set in stone by the highest authority in the Catholic Church. The visits of 3 different popes, Paul VI, John Paul II, and Benedict XVI, put the House of the Virgin Mary on the global map for good, confirming its place as a major holy site. Every single year on this date, August 15th, a massive service is held here to commemorate the Assumption of Mary. Thousands upon thousands of pilgrims flock to this little chapel on the mountain. It's really a powerful testament to the site's enduring spiritual pull. So, if you were to make the trip to this quiet spot on Nightingale Mountain today, what would you actually find? Let's take a quick look. The site is actually remarkably modest and peaceful. You'll find the small stone chapel, which has been restored from the original foundation. Just below it, there are 3 fountains where pilgrims drink water that's believed to have healing powers. And maybe the most striking thing you'll see is the wishing wall. It is just covered in thousands of personal prayers and intentions written on little scraps of paper and cloth, left there by visitors from all over the world. So, after all that, what is the official position of the Catholic Church? Well, it's a bit nuanced. The Church fully embraces the site as a holy place. It's seen as a sacred destination for prayer and pilgrimage. However, it has never formally declared that this is, without a doubt, the actual historical house of Mary. It acknowledges the powerful tradition and the incredible story, but it stops short of calling it a scientifically proven fact. Which leaves us with one final big question. The story of this little house is this extraordinary mix of mystical vision, historical detective work, and ancient tradition. So, where does one draw the line? Whether you see it as a flat-out miracle, a wild coincidence, or a beautifully preserved piece of local history, the power of this small stone house is just undeniable. And it makes you wonder, in stories like this, what matters more? The verifiable facts or the profound meaning that millions of people find there?